Hey friend, thank you so much for tuning in to the Fit as Flock podcast. Today we are going to be talking all things getting started and making it stick. So many people are starting 2023 with the goal of improving their health and fitness, and I seriously love this. Watching so many people start their journey is so inspiring to me. So please know if you're listening to this and this is you, I'm rooting for you. But with that comes with all sorts of challenges. As with starting anything new, it can be really difficult, especially when we're talking about making behavior changes. I want to remind you that if you are one of these people starting in 2023 or whenever it is that you're listening to this and it feels hard, please know that that's normal. If it feels hard at first, then you're doing it right. Stick with it because pretty soon what feels really hard today is going to start to feel normal. It's going to start to feel like you're making normal decisions and it's part of your normal routine. So today I want to share a few of my top tips for getting started and how to make it stick. So bear with me here. This might sound a little out there to some of you, but I promise you this can be a game changer. One of my favorite ways to kick this whole thing off is to ask you to pause and think about the future version of yourself that you are working towards. Seriously, like close your eyes and picture her. Who is she? How is her day structured? Does she get up early? Does she stay up late? What kind of energy does she give off? What does she say yes to? What does she maybe say no to? How does she carry herself? And how does she feel in her physical body? These are just a few of the many questions that you can ask yourself. And if this is something that is resonating for you, please let me know this specific concept because I have a guided visualization meditation around this whole concept that it's very moving, super powerful. I would love to share it with you. So for many, many people, this version of themselves that they are picturing is a fitter, healthier, more energetic, more confident version of their current selves. So the time to start acting like her is not once you become her. I know that sounds weird, right? It's actually right now. So even if you can't run around the block or you have over 100 pounds to lose, you must begin to identify as this person, as this version of you now. So you need to start to consider what types of decisions does she make? Does she work out on a consistent basis? Does she make a meal plan? While some of these actions might not be what you want to do, they're usually what it is you need to do in order to become this future elevated version of you that you've identified that you desire to be. Let me give you an example. So what I mean by this is while I might not want to say no to wine 4 nights a week, I know that in order to show up as the version of myself that I desire to be, I need to. So you can't expect to wake up a year from now totally transformed with behaviors that are incongruent with the person that you desire to be. The idea here is to begin to act as if you are already this person. I promise you it will change the way you see yourself and make the new actions you are trying to implement significantly easier. You are essentially training your brain to think and see yourself differently. This doesn't mean I am suggesting that you go to extremes by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I recommend the opposite. And that may come as a surprise to you as a fitness coach, right? It's like I have this plan, I have this program, and it's all laid out for you. Go through, these steps and do all of these things, and then you'll have your, A to Z transformation. That's what everybody wants, right? But what most people actually really need is to start really, really small and to begin to build a foundation. So I suggest that part of the future you is to be someone that desires to be consistent versus motivated. We all know that motivation is fleeting. Being a person who is consistent is a personality trait that you can learn and train and develop over time. A consistent person is someone who does the work even on days that they really don't want to. The fact of the matter is, I would say 90% of the time, I wake up and I don't really want to go work out. Very rarely do I wake up motivated, like, yes, let's get in the gym and crush a workout. but I am consistent and I am very disciplined, and it's just part of what I do. I feel more normal doing that than not. Even though I might not want to do it and I don't necessarily feel motivated to do it, if I don't do it, I actually don't feel normal. So that's what I'm talking about. Start to become the person that follows through on things that you say you will do. Chances are you already do this. You do this for your children, for your spouse, for your employer. But my question to you is, are you doing it for yourself? Are you showing up for yourself in the ways that you have said that you want to do, in the ways that you want to be? It's time to extend that to yourself. So in order to be consistent, the best place you can start is small. Trust me, I know what it feels like to want to lose weight yesterday. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Trust me, if it did, I would know the solution. I would have already done it. But the smaller you start, the easier it is to be consistent. The more consistent you are, the more motivated you will become, because you're reaping the rewards of your consistency. It feels really good. You will naturally desire to continue to reap those rewards, which leads to feelings of motivation. You'll begin to feel like you can make more significant changes by starting small. It's like when they say start your day by making your bed, right? It's that like first win of the day. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't make my bed, but if you're someone that does, you know what I'm talking about, or if you're not, give it a try and I think you'll know exactly what I mean. One of the ways that I like to work with my clients on starting small is by teaching them the concept of choosing their big 3 every single week. So what does that mean? What I mean by that is you identify 3 things that you will do daily that will move you closer to your goals. These small actions will eventually lead to bigger actions. I want you to think of this as kind of you're walking before you run. So choosing a big 3 each week helps you consistently assess what's working. What are you doing really well? What are you doing not so well? What are your areas that you need some improvement in? So what's working, what isn't working? You are reflecting and course correcting as you go along on a regular and consistent basis versus getting 3 weeks into something and quitting because you tried to do too much at once. So let me give you an example of some of the things that your big 3 could be. Now, there are no rules to this. This is going to look different for every single person based on the type of person that you are and your starting point and where you desire to go and all of those things. So these are just simply ideas. You'll want to take this and apply it to your own situation and identify the big 3 that make the most sense for you. But I did want to give you some ideas. So examples of your big 3 could be waking up early Monday through Friday. Maybe you're someone that currently your day starts when your alarm goes off, you hit the ground running. Every single person in your household is also awake. So immediately you are bombarded by all of these things that you are responsible for doing, taking care of your kids, getting them to school, etc., getting off to work. And maybe you desire to be someone that exercises in the morning. Well, you know that shifting from hitting the ground running to waking up early plus doing a strenuous workout, that's a pretty big jump. So my recommendation would be to choose a big 3 of simply saying, I'm gonna wake up early Monday through Friday. So whatever you identify as early, maybe that's 10 minutes earlier than everyone else. Or another suggestion that I make to people often that desire to wake up earlier is pushing their wake up time back by 10 minutes each day until they get to their desired wake up time so that it's not so jarring, right? Our rhythms are very delicate and fragile. So for some people that can make the process much harder. So you say, one of my big 3s is this week, I'm gonna wake up early every single day, Monday through Friday. We're not gonna worry about adding in working out. Right now, we're just talking about waking up early. Then one of them might be getting in 10,000 steps a day. So you're not saying I'm gonna do this crazy wild workout that has you jumping all over the place or whatever the case may be, but you're gonna focus on daily purposeful movement, making sure you're maintaining a high level of daily activity by simply saying, I'm gonna get in 10,000 steps a day. For most people, that means you are going to have to carve out some time for an intentional walk in order to meet that marker. I know that I have to. I work primarily at a desk, and so in order to get 10,000 steps a day, while I have 2 small kids, I'm going to still have to make a concentrated effort to get that done. What that can eventually lead to is body in motion stays in motion. Now you're moving. You're used to moving your body on a consistent basis. So next week, one of your big threes might be, well, I've been waking up early. I've been getting in my daily purposeful movement of 10,000 steps a day. Now I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to try to do a 20-minute workout in that period of time. Another one might be drinking, X amount of water, whatever that is. So many of us are walking around dehydrated. Oftentimes we mistake feelings of hunger. We're actually thirsty. That's another good one. One that I really love is eating protein at every meal and snack. I'm not saying track your food. What I'm saying is focus on making sure every time you sit down to eat, it is including protein, because what that's going to do is protein's going to help keep you feeling fuller longer. So therefore, by design, chances are you're probably going to end up consuming less calories overall. And how that can continue to develop? Well, after you've done that, you've had a concentrated effort on making sure you're getting in protein at every meal and snack. You're like, wow, I'm feeling really good. I have more energy. And then you feel like you can take a more concentrated look at your food. You're ready to start to understand what appropriate portion sizes are. You're ready to start tracking your food on a daily basis. But notice, this doesn't say start with tracking every single bite that you put in your mouth. While that is ultimately important at some point, depending on your goals, I don't necessarily recommend it for people who are just getting started. It really just depends on where you are in your process. Where are you mentally with all of it, and what are you ready for, and what is your environment and situation supportive of? If your whole life is in chaos right now, trying to start to implement all the things is going to be extremely overwhelming. It's not because you're a failure, and it's not because you're not strong and you don't have grit to just push through. No, it's because making behavior changes are freaking hard. Notice this also doesn't say work out for 60 minutes a day, because we've got to walk before we run. But most people don't want to do that, right? Because like I said at the beginning, they want their results yesterday. So they're like, no, I got to do all these things. But if I can get you to do anything, I would love to be able to get people to take a step back and go, okay, I've tried this before, where I've tried to do all the things, and then ultimately I get like a month in and I quit because it was overwhelming. It was too much. You tried to do too much. You're not a failure. It's just too much. You would have been so much better off if you would have practiced patience and started small. But again, we live in an instant gratification society, so it's really easy to want it all and want it all right now. I'm no freaking different. But I have to regularly remind myself that slow and steady wins the race, and that has kind of been the name of the game for me. And so while sometimes I have been personally frustrated by, my slow rate of loss, for example, when I was in the trenches of trying to lose the baby weight after my daughter, I wanted it faster. Of course, right? Like my job as a fitness coach, I'm showing up half clothed on a regular basis. So it was like, I wanted it off. But I knew that if I did that, it would be really hard for me to maintain. So it took a lot of mental gymnastics for me to be able to force myself to take a step back and go, okay, pump the brakes, sister. You need to slow things down. Oh, and P.S., life is for living. So I didn't want to go through that whole process and be miserable. I wanted to live my life along the way. And what that meant was making small incremental changes that were sustainable as a lifestyle, things that I could continue to do for the long haul versus I'm going to white knuckle it for 6 weeks, potentially get, said results, whatever it is, and then struggle to maintain it because I really didn't lay the foundation that I needed. So while I am a strong advocate for tracking your food and getting 10 steps a day and strength training 4 to 5 times a week, all those things are great, right? But they're difficult to achieve if you're starting from a place of eating most meals out, getting less than 5,000 steps a day, and not exercising at all. Right? That's a big, huge shift, and in multiple different areas of your life. So if you take anything away from today's chat, please take this. Start small and don't try to do it all. I promise you that your 3 small actions are called the big 3 for a reason. Keep doing them, keep refining them, keep building upon them consistently, and you will have a big transformation. If this episode resonated with you, please share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at Lindsey Bush. You never know who might also need this message. I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Love y'all. Bye.